ball.
The culture.
I mean, we keeping the buck right now, we ass.
To win games, you have to win the game.
Finish the fucking game, bro. Just end it.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown, however.
A new year means new things. Maybe you're into those resolution trends that I made a resolution not to do a long time ago. Hey, it worked, can't complain about the results. But what it also means is playoff football on the horizon. You know the stakes. All for the glory of the crown. Of DraftKings Sportsbook, the sponsor of this video. They're looking to make this January a little more special. All new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if it wins. As I've said before, I'm into the same game parlays. I'll find a game of my choosing, put a few bucks down on anytime TDs, and maybe a stat line or two in the process. I'll do it about once or twice a week and leave it at that. Nothing too insane, just if I have a hunch or want to for the hell of it. Although if DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state, there are plenty of daily fantasy options to keep you busy. I take part in a few of those too. The game plan is simple, my friends. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code UTREAT. That allows new customers to bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if it wins. And that's only with DraftKings, where the crown is always yours. But please remember to play responsibly if you do. We made it. We've lost our sanity, several limbs, and young Zeke to dysentery along the way, but week 18 has finally been reached. The year's been sheer chaos. Predictability, stability, and projections going out the damn window. Every week has become a marathon session of dopamine hits and on-field brain rot. But as this NFL season comes to a close, there's still so much to play for. As always, this week's games will be presented in terms of importance. Let's get some chaff out of the way. Quarterback formerly known as 9 dueling with Clayton Tune. What a barn burner this is gonna be. The Packers gain absolutely nothing from winning, so they've chosen to rest most of their starters and concede another hollow victory to the Vikings. Well, at least that's what they can pretend to say as their season falls apart. It's an offense with Clayton Tune. The only movement taking place is backwards. It's legitimately embarrassing for a playoff contender, even one playing third stringers. Minnesota is a 13-point lead that might as well be 130. But J.J. McCarthy's still dealing with his hand injury. So he pulled himself out once Justin Jefferson got his 1,000-yard season for future Men's League MVP Max Brosmer. The less said about the disaster that followed, the better. Vikings win and Harrison Smith and C.J. Ham get their swan songs in front of a home crowd. Although I'll give props to the Packers for kicking a last-second field goal to backdoor cover. A few people had money on this game on the sidelines. The Battle of Ohio with two limping franchises just wanting things to end. Dreaming of what could have been but undone by their own hubris and decision-making. No scorn worse than a defense long-wasted. So if the Browns' offense has been completely inept all damn year, the D will take matters into their own hands. 2 servings of Hot Pockets cooked up on a pick six and another Noah Fant fumble. Yes, I said another Fant fumble. Joe Burrow did well enough with his fine Jamar and T, but the Browns defense would not be refused another victory to end the year. Shit, they've got themselves another prize to win. He did it. Myles Garrett got the sack record. It's the only good thing that's happened to that team all damn year. Since he's pissed about stopping the game for it, cry more. Cleveland's offense isn't doing jack and shit against a generationally bad Bengals defense, but it's all neat and dandy. Until they take the lead. 2-point conversion fails, though. So comes the final drive, and oh, look at that. The Bengals defense is folding yet again. Cleveland makes it to field goal range. Cue Andre Schmidt's revenge for week 1.
Good snap, Good hold, nearly blocked, it is good! But there is a flag.
Good news, Bungles, your franchise is incompetent. Ownership's deluded themselves into thinking this failure was solely on an injured Burrow. Nothing's changing. Nothing! Great news for the rest of the AFC North. The season's been a disaster for Cleveland, but at least it ends on a high note in spite of that terrible offense. Andrew Berry, meanwhile, is saved by that last draft he had. Clock's ticking, man. Stop wasting that elite defense. Jets fans, another season has ended. You can finally drink away the pain of having to ignore another disastrous butt fumble, and that's what this was. A complete fucking butt fumble. It's Groundhog Day every damn year, just with different faces and failures, and it ends in the usual way. Getting their asses whopped by a much stronger AFC East foe. They had waves of volunteers clear the bleachers in the final regular season game at the Old Ralph. The Bills took those same snow shovels and waxed New York on repeat. And they did it with Mitch kissing titties. Josh Allen took his 1 rep to keep the start streak alive and bowed out. The Jets pretty much did too. No interceptions on the year. None! A first in the recorded history of the stat. Shit, this is more impressive than 0-17. Is this team good for anything besides sheer ineptitude? Brady's fucking cooked like that terrible offense of theirs. No progress and getting blown the fuck out every week. If Aaron Glenn lasts another year after being the second coming of Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce, this organization deserves every damn thing coming to them. Buffalo secures 6th seed. Weird to see them back down there. G-men are really good at fucking up their draft position with random wins in the final few weeks of the season, aren't they? I don't know if it's really anything of their doing. They simply watch as other teams fall over themselves to lose regardless of their objectives. Like last week, their opponent chose to play long-range game. Dallas' season's long lost and the Flus Goose is a walking joke. So why not let the G-men have every chance in the world and sabotage their draft position? It got relatively ugly fast and the Cowboys pulled Dak at half for Joe Milton as well as other starters. Worst case scenario for New York. They weren't actively prepared for blatantly tanking teams and take a hollow victory, dropping them from 2nd to 5th in the Tank Bowl sweepstakes. Of course, the Giants crushed in a completely meaningless game. Can this franchise do any goddamn thing right? Where the fuck was this back in September? God, what a frustrating team. What a wasted season. What could have been if they had a defensive coordinator that wasn't a total hack? Of course they're keeping Joe Shane around to fail even more. I wouldn't expect anything less from this useless franchise. Fucking pathetic. Final hurdle to cross the Mendoza line. Slop. Actual fucking slop with two blatantly tanking squads. Chris Oladokun and Kenny Pickett in a showcase of the Steelers' 2022 draft class. Oh my god, this is atrocious. Nobody can move the football more than a few inches at a time. Somehow the Raiders' defense is looking like their 2002 vintage and the Chiefs are, well, the Spagnuolo Chiefs. Such a terribly ugly display of football that it devolved into AOC against Shane Buechele. Shane Buechele! He never took an NFL snap before this and he's getting premium reps. Is it any shock that neither team made it anywhere close to the end zone today? Only the most depraved take pleasure in such a display. That or they're forced to check a box. The game is neck and neck by sheer incompetence, but points are being scored. Harrison Butker kicks a field goal late to take the lead, potentially giving us beautiful scoregami in the process. But wait, the Raiders are moving down the field. Somewhat. It's the saddest comeback I've seen in an age, but Daniel Carlson has a chance to win it.
Snap there. Carlson swings. Carlson has it!
I would be screaming in righteous fury in a normal circumstance for a terrible team fucking up their tank, but with the Giants winning, there was no worry about it. The win was meaningless. The lower strength of schedule saved them in the end. Congratulations, Raiders. You have successfully crossed over the Mendoza line. 2025 Tank Bowl champions.
You win. These guys suck.
Funny thing is, they weren't even trying to tank this year. They just sucked 17 shades of ass. The corporate Raiders finally did something right and it came in blatant losing. That's irony. Chicago, are you okay? I know the Bears have been surviving off completely unsustainable turnover rates and comebacks, but to suddenly run out of gas this late in the year? Against a hated rival with nothing to play for but pride? The offense has simply fallen apart. Everything's off sync in the first half, and the Motor City Kitties have finally found their roar again. At least to 16 points worth by the third quarter, and a shutout to boot. So now the Lions defense manages to not be complete shit? Really? It took this long? Oh, wait, right, I forgot. The Bears usually hibernate until the fourth quarter. It's been their standard thing, Lions. Don't think you're special. Although with Dan Campbell trying to copy Ben Johnson's homework without understanding his context, he simply fails every test given. Chicago's being handed a tie game. Caleb Williams and the offense making their usual magic happen and make that tie so. Can they get over the finish line? They stop the Lions on their next drive with a well-timed pick near their end zone. That's a damn good start. Then Caleb wills them to a 3-and-out with intentional grounding penalty? Then Amon-Ra gets Detroit to field goal range on the final drive? What?
Snap and hold are good. The kick is up and good. And the Lions going to finish their year with a win in Chicago, 19-16.
Oh dear. So Dan Campbell takes his pound of kneecap and the Bears have to lie around and wait. For the Eagles. They can swipe that 2-seed away like it's nothing. A chance for Philadelphia to prove themselves and overcome their increasing number of critics. A Although for some reason Sirianni's playing a long-range game due to either caution or complete overconfidence. The Eagles are resting most of their starters, for some damn reason. You have a chance at the 2 seed and you're resting damn near everyone of importance? Well, don't say I didn't warn you. The commies may be injured to all hell, battered to the point of relying on Josh Johnson under center again, but they still have resolve. Although the Eagles' offense was sluggish as hell once again, they have the built-in excuse of it being with backups. I just figured Tanner McKee would be a good bit better than this. Strange. Just a painful game to watch for nearly everyone involved. The Eagles have a 17-10 lead headed into the 4th. All seems to be going according to plan. Then karma strikes at the worst possible time. Josh Johnson, the frequent Flyer Club lifer himself, pieces together 2 strong drives against Fangio's backup units. Pass interference penalties did the heavy lifting, but we'll ignore that. Worse, he's able to will them to touchdowns on both. Washington has a lead they'll refuse to relinquish. Josh Johnson gets a win in what could be his final game. Oh, fucking Christ, another frustrating loss in a season full of them. This is the kind of shit that pisses me off about the Eagles. So many golden opportunities squandered due to their terrible offense. God, I just want to slap them silly and say they're woefully underachieving for their talent level. Note I'm saying this about a 3 seed. That's how good Philly should be. God damn it. The AFC South technically has drama to it, but let's be real. This is a white-hot Duval against the Titans. Cam Ward's simply looking for progress to end a very rocky and chaotic rookie season. Silly Tennessee, you think you're gonna have any hope in the season finale? Cam Ward's getting knocked out of the game early, and it's with an AC joint sprain. Titans fans can have no nice things. I'm honestly more amazed that Brandon Allen's still in the NFL. He's gonna show the world one thing: how absolutely terrible this offense would be without Cam Ward trying to turn river water into wine every play. Jacksonville saw a fresh carcass on the side of the road. They were vultures, ripping off their rotting flesh without any care for what life it led. There's only easy food for the taking. A T-Law-led massacre and a year full of them. The AFC South is more than theirs. It's almost birthright. Just like Cam Little breaking Justin Tucker's field goal record again. A 67-yard boot to take second place as well. It was just that kind of day. Don't worry about the lost Titans, at least you're interviewing Redneck. Please hire him. Please hire him, I'm begging you. So the division title's out of reach, but the Texans can still claim a date with the AFC North winner as the 5th seed. Even in the cold, that should be plenty appetizing. All they have to do is send these downtrodden Colts to the glue factory. Indy's got other plans. A fake punt on 4th down and then immediately after on 1st and 10? That's peak degeneracy and I'm all for it. The game itself? Peak degeneracy. Houston pulled most of their key starters in the second half with little to play for, and the game was uncomfortably close. Very much so in peculiar fashion. Simply means more pain for the Colts before the sweet release of death. Alec Pierce is having the game of his life, but whoops, he inadvertently grazed the ref while trying to argue for a penalty. That's grounds for ejection? Really? The ref bumped into him? Are you fucking kidding me? If that isn't Indy season, I don't know what is. It wasn't anywhere near pretty. It was weird to see them give up so many big plays, yet Houston escapes with the 5th seed. Even against the Texans' backups. Even as Riley Leonard plays the game of his life while Old Man Rivers watches approvingly from the sidelines, the Colts still can't win. What a cruel, miserable season. First, the injuries weren't even the beginning of the downfall. That happened once the schedule stopped being a cupcake. And the hits keep coming, almost literally with Charvarius Ward considering retirement due to repeated concussions. What the hell do you even do? I get keeping Steichen around. It wasn't his fault the team completely fell apart, but retaining Chris Ballard? It's definitely a choice. The dude has done absolutely nothing. Why is he still here? Is Jim Irsay still giving him plot armor? They were hoping for a thriller and it became Indiana Jones in the Lost Season. The worst outcome possible. The First Order has risen from the ashes of the evil empire. Miami was simply another planet for the Patriots to destroy with their New Age Death Star. Drake May will silence and slay any poor fool that dares to even step in front of him, capping off an MVP campaign with another near-immaculate day. It's not the Jets, so slightly less impressive stats. Or maybe that's because Ramondre Stevenson couldn't be stopped on the ground. Either way, New England once again proves their superiority with a paper-soft schedule, and are eager to make sure it counts in January again. Miami, meanwhile, will consult with Troy Aikman for who will be their next GM. What that means for Mike McDaniel's future? He's probably safe. To win games, he had to win the games. He did not lose them to garbage opponents. He stays for now. But regarding the Patriots usurping Denver, don't count on it. The Chargers are waving the white flag. They've been so beaten down over the grind that they're resting key starters in this contest. They're cutting their losses and settling for the 7th seed. It's also because Trey Lance is a QB. Denver's defense was suffocating as usual, but they barely had to try. It's year 5 and Lance is still missing throws left and right. He was gonna prove himself as a 3rd overall pick today? In what, the UFL? The Broncos' offense wasn't good either. The same flaws apply to them from previous weeks, but they didn't need to be. Liquid LA's at half strength and afraid of more phantom illegal contact penalties. Denver waltzes their way to the number 1 seed. To be honest, I think that's too generous of a term. More like casually strolls towards it. A year of dancing through the raindrops greatly rewarded. Broncos and their fans love it. The rest of us, we have our doubts. There was a lot of junk this week, wasn't there? That's always how it goes in the final week. No movement in standing or positioning for the most part, but here we get to the main events of the week. First, the division no one wants to win. Dead serious there. Who hosts the home playoff game? Who cares, they both fucking suck. Now's a good enough time to get your shit together, Bucs. Even then, it might be too late. The NFC South is Lovecraftian horror beyond our comprehension. One team unfortunately must win it, and all of them are a different downpour of terrible. Carolina's had this strange tendency to be extremely mercurial from week to week. If you were to say that the Panthers mostly laid another colossal egg when they needed a big game, you shouldn't be all that shocked. Note that I said mostly. It wasn't just the Buccaneers besting them in most aspects. It wasn't just Carolina falling apart on 3rd downs. It wasn't just their running game being treated like Vita Vea as steak. Seems to me like the Glazers didn't want to have to deal with the backlash of not firing Bowles for his hackery. The Venmo went through. Ref Ball Supreme was the name of the game. Good lord, the Panthers got fucked. Uncalled face mask, suspect OPI calls on Tetaroa McMillan, defensive pass interference due to Kate Otten tripping over his own shoes. This was heinous bullshit. All of Charlotte suddenly wants to hunt zebras on safari. Yet it's only one factor. Carolina continued to do it into themselves. A flea flicker near the red zone? In these conditions? Sure, okay, Dave Canales, you do you. Whatever the Panthers do to counter the refs and themselves isn't enough, and they try for what it's worth. Blocked field goals to keep the game a 9-point affair. Even as Bryce will try to will this team to another miracle, the Bucs do just enough to keep their season on life support. Oh, for the right to host a home playoff game. For better or worse. But don't think this is anywhere close to over yet. There's another way for Carolina. One that forces alliances in unlikely places. The NFC South resorts to maximum chaos, as was always predicted in the stars of this shithole division. Bucs fans rooting for the Saints, Panthers fans rooting for the Falcons, Saint fans root for this division to be contracted. This is as garbage a football game as I was hoping it'd be. Oh, such premium crap that has us sickos gooning through the night. 1 p.m. Kirko against Tyler Shough legitimately throwing to a bunch of welders and mechanics. Chris Olave's out with a blood clot. Both offenses are apparently out as well. That being said, Atlanta's gonna have a slight edge throughout most of the contest, but the Saints are hanging around. Like me at a house party, they make things very uncomfortable and awkward. Field goals are thrown about left and right, yet the Falcons continue to cling on to a 6-point lead late in the 4th. But never fear, Bucs. Tyler Shough is pushing with whatever's around him. And he's doing it well, to be fair. Todd Bowles really might be bailed out.
Tyler Shough, and it's intercepted! The Falcon takeaway, D. Alford!
Sorry, Tampa. Whatever fleeting hopes you may have had were picked off by a Falcon defender. Hell hath no fury like Atlanta eliminated from contention. Running with great form to fuck over both the Rams draft pick and fuck over countless teams in their path. That means you, Buccaneers. That 3-way tie prophecy came true. I'd say your chances of recovery are about as good as you guys defending a 3rd and 28. You better be thanking your lucky stars the Colts happened, or else there'll be an even larger magnascope glaring at your impeccable collapse. A defense that cratered in December and Baker to Mike Evans couldn't carry like usual. Go throw more players under the bus, Todd. It's working wonders for you. The Panthers made it! The fucking Panthers! terrible. Oh my God. Showdown time. The biggest test for both these teams in a winner-take-all contest for the NFC West. Dead serious, the loser will be relegated to 5th or possibly 6th seed in the case of the Niners. If I'm San Francisco, I'm considering travel plans and hotel reservations for next week. 49ers have had incredible form dicing up defenses in their wake. Until they ran into Seattle. Seahawks must have gotten sick of losing to Kyle Shanahan at every turn. Nobody over there gives a shit about more of their key players being out. Mike McDonald's got his own sorcery. Punching you repeatedly in the fucking mouth. That elite Niners offense, terrorized at every angle by a relentless Seahawks unit. That defense dared them to try to do things. Every time San Fran attempted, good fucking night. This is what Seattle's gonna do to on-fire units in January. We're all getting third-degree burns by proxy. A statement of statements in hostile territory. They are to be feared. The Hawks' offense still had flaws and warts throughout the affair, including a sudden yips case for Jason Myers of all people. But it didn't matter when they have a hydraulic press. Purdy and his men got turned into a convenient cube. Seattle dominates on the field and claims the rightful, if somewhat surprising, place as NFC West champion. Plus, they get the highly coveted first-round bye. As for the Niners, well, if injury bowls were real, they'd be an honest-to-God dynasty. Another Niner was hurt during this presentation. As for seeding, San Francisco has to wait on the Rams to see where they stand. I'd like to believe that the Rams would rather face an NFC South pipsqueak, but do you remember the last few weeks? Not good. Fortunately for them, they're up against an utterly dead franchise in the Cardinals. In both the figurative and the literal sense. It's a beatdown. A pure beatdown, especially in the fourth quarter. Arizona tries to keep up, and it is valiant, but the Rams are simply far too powerful. Cards just run out of gas. Fall into another death trap, and nobody gives a shit. Arizona's the Franklin Pierce of teams. Utterly forgettable and drink themselves to death. They're so irrelevant they can't even win Injury Bowl. Nope. That should have been a layup for how utterly devastated they've been. But all they can enjoy are spamming passes to Michael Wilson and Trey McBride in eternal garbage time. When Arizona has no defense to speak of, Rams house simply goes ham. If you hear any noise, it's just Stafford and the boys bopping. Their firepower claims the 5th seed as San Francisco experiences worst-case scenario for the week. Although, to be fair, did anybody really expect the Cardinals to win? They haven't won shit in months. But don't worry about the disaster season. That fail son of a fail son upgraded the Wi-Fi! He upgraded the Wi-Fi! Now it can be dropped before it reaches the end zone there, too. Now for the main event. The AFC North is yet to be claimed. Yinzer priests and deities christen the end zone with holy water and a dark arts ritual. Pittsburgh's bringing out all the stops tonight. All you had to do was beat Cleveland, but nah, you had to make this a shitload more complicated than it had to be. The Ravens are looking for blood in a winner-take-all contest. The right to get destroyed by the Texans at home is at stake. All hands on deck. TJ Watt and a chorus of others have returned from injury. Lamar's returned from a back contusion. Both teams know the stakes. And it starts with how else? A double-digit Raven lead. It wouldn't be Baltimore without one of those. That's quickly flown because this is what the Ravens do. Or it should be near half, despite the Steelers' extremely slow start on offense. So Pittsburgh goes down the field in a strong drive. They get a first down at the 1 thanks to pass interference with 2 seconds left. A field goal. Wait, why the fuck did you toss it strong side? No points at all? What the fuck are you doing, boys? Jesus! All steam pointed towards Baltimore. Then terrible fortune strikes the Ravens. Kyle Hamilton suffers a concussion. After this happened, the defensive wall collapsed. Pittsburgh finally could get things going. Mostly because nobody can make a tackle at first contact. The Steelers are juking them out of their shoes. Including Roquan? Really? Then the bullshit really goes into high gear. The holy water and the Jeebus are working. Pittsburgh has themselves a lead and a chance to truly make things happen. Then Lamar Jackson happens and finds A. Flowers being covered by Patrick Quee. Most expensive defense in football indeed. Don't worry about that though. The Steelers managed to further break Baltimore's D with clutch play and a Kenneth Gainwell TD. Immediately followed by... Who the fuck is covering Zay Flowers? How the hell is he that wide open? Fucking hell! Too bad for the Ravens, they cannot defense again. Per tradition, Zach Orr's incompetence is rearing its ugly head, and culminates in more broken coverages.
Rodgers protected. Throws to Austin for the touchdown!
Literally wide fucking open. Jadobe Awuzie ate it on the turf monster. No, Kyle Hamilton has killed this defense. Old man Rodgers is feasting on the carcass. Steal it! He missed again. I can't believe it. Boswell's missing kicks left and right. What the fuck is going on? This is some fucking Ravens down by 2 with a chance to win, equipped with all 3 timeouts. Time is short, yet things aren't progressing as planned after a big return. Lamar needs another miracle.
It's 4th and 7. Season on the line. Jackson lofting it up, and it is. Oh, held on to by Isaiah Likely.
Oh my god, Isaiah Likely got revenge for the end zone drop. The Ravens are going to steal the win away from Pittsburgh's stale hands. The leg of Tyler Loop is the only thing separating them from a Texan ass-kicking next week. Come on, this is a gimme in 2025. It's not like they've blown this kind of kick in the past.
32 yards to tie it. And the kick, look out! Look out! It's no good! And right on top of it, it goes for another kick.
Snap good. Hold it. The kick is no good. It is wide right. And the Steelers are the champions of the North.
Oh my fucking god. The loophole. On the same side of the field christened by Yinzer Holywater. A damn fine-fitting way to end this acid trip. Tyler Loop imitating Billy Cundiff on a gimme kick. We have unlocked levels of it being so goddamn Raven that it's broken the physical plane of existence. Tyler Loop choked. He straight up choked. A Q shot. No wind with a ticket to January attached, and it merely leads to more unbelievable Raven pain. How the hell do you keep doing this? You're so anti-clutch, it's incredible. You really are the early 90s Oilers. It started with an unbelievable choke to the Bills. It continued with a 1-5 Canyon and injury to Lamar. It ends with another unbelievable choke despite all odds. Both a horribly flawed team and John Harbaugh's repeated failures as head coach. Never fucking more. See you next year for the same shit. What do I keep telling you people? The bullshit is real. Pittsburgh threw everything this season into the luck stat. They survive in spite of themselves. Tomlin isn't the devil, he's a fucking cockroach, he won't die. I wouldn't have it any other goddamn way. You know they're going to the Super Bowl. Why? Because fuck you. And that will finally, mercifully end one of the most drunkenly chaotic NFL seasons in history. It'll be a year that won't be forgotten anytime soon for both good and bad reasons, yet January's still in view. 14 teams survive. And in the AFC, Denver secures home field and first round bye. The first order of the Patriots take second seed and have a date with Liquid LA in Foxborough. Horrors await. Same for Buffalo as they have to travel on the road to Duval and the Jaguars. Meanwhile, Houston gets to experience the bullshit being real in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. Much shenanigans will be had. The NFC somehow has Seattle taking the 1 seed in a bye. Yeah, who saw that coming? Also, who the hell saw the Bears taking the 2 seed to play Green Bay at Soldier Field? Maybe the other way around, sure, but not this. Philadelphia will continue to aggravate us as always because it's what they've done all year. Can San Francisco bury them or will they fall victim to Vic Fangio's defense? Meanwhile, the goddamn Panthers of all teams clinched the division no one wanted to win at 8-9. You'll say the Rams should crush them, but then you remember Carolina beat them earlier this year. These playoffs are as wide open as it gets. There'll be endless bullshit to come, and I'll once again die in the process. Take care, everyone. The Haters Guide once again awaits. The football gods shall never show mercy, and this is fact for the coaches and executives of failed franchises throughout the league. Welcome to the purge known as Black Monday. Well, this guy learned absolutely nothing from his coaching stint in Tampa. You'd think after a decade plus Raheem would have learned how not to suck as a head coach, but apparently some men just aren't cut out for the role. In his case, Arthur Smith with a defensive flair. Blatantly misusing talent, mangling game situations left and right, using the same tired cliches to excuse his own incompetence at every turn. Doesn't matter if the players love you if you fail at every other part of the role. Hack Robinson and Jimmy Lake mangling everything. Oh, the wonderful underachieving they had. It was aggravating as hell. He's got a long future as a defensive coordinator, but keep him the fuck away from head coaching roles. Raheem ain't it at all. I'm not exactly shedding tears for this loss. Fontenot should thank his lucky star Scott Fitterer was a GM in his division, or else he'd be getting called one of the worst GMs of the decade. Dude ran the Falcons like it was a Madden franchise. Sexy picks out the wazoo while completely ignoring the gobs of issues on his team. Draft high-profile tight end, wideout, and star running back despite having no one to throw to them. Have a massive QB problem, blatantly tamper to pay the big bucks for a veteran option on the open market. Need a backup despite issues at edge rusher, gamble on a QB with a top 10 pick weeks later. Realize you have an issue at edge a year too late? Trade next year's first to overcorrect in an effort to save your ass. James Pierce and Xavier Watts are damn good players, but they paid way too much for that. Especially while still having a damn quarterback problem. Like the Falcons, a miserable failure. Get back to a support role and never return. Atlanta just won the damn Super Bowl. Not even joking. The Shadow Emperor of the Falcons was the Grima Wormtongue for Arthur Blank's corrupted Theoden. Always slithering around, damaging the Falcons with bad move after bad move. Terrible advice and shit hires left and right. It's about damn time Arthur Blank cleaned house. The corruption's being lifted. McKay drawn from power like poison drawn from a wound. Gandalf has come to exile this snake from the chicken coop. Begone, Rich! Your foul deeds will be reassigned to a powerless general role. It's Matt Ryan time now. Hopefully a better era than this one. This guy's won Coach of the Year twice. That's how quickly things change in the NFL. Stefanski brought the Browns good things. 2 playoff appearances, a playoff win, much needed stability after Freddie Kitchens, but the man had severe flaws in recent times. He couldn't control the egos in the locker room. He took reign of the offense twice in the past 2 years to absolutely miserable results. The Deshaun offense, disaster. This year, somehow even worse. Couldn't will a damn thing out of the course of QBs that have come and gone. There were fans actively claiming blatant sabotage. He was that bad. The 2-point conversion against the Titans, anyone? He'll be in high demand for a coaching role, but it was time to move on for both parties. So why the hell is Andrew Berry still here? Did that rookie class save his job? At least they did something, unlike the Bengals. Nobody should be shocked by this whatsoever. Pete Carroll's mega cooked and has been for a good bit. He always struck me as a plan E for the Raiders. Ben Johnson and other main targets didn't come, so they go with the placeholder option. And it was a brutal mistake. The dude's a fossil, and his only perk was plopping his underqualified sons into coaching roles. But the Raiders were the absolute worst in 2025. A 10-minute drive down by 2 touchdowns just to kick a field goal to be down by 2 touchdowns. Imitating the Seahawks of the last few years was a miserable failure. Cut the losses as Pete goes into forced retirement. You should have tried breaking more whiteboards and chewing 20 pieces of gum at a time. That would have at least done something productive. There's a reason why Eagles fans were celebrating when Gannon left for Arizona. And it wasn't just the Super Bowl. The dude's outright incompetent as a head man. The only explosions he made were awkward sound effects. An epitome of nothing at best and aggravation at worst. Gannon and his minions should have been insta-canned after the Titans debacle. But it's not for DeMercado. If you watch the press conferences of him and Petzing after the fact, no one knew what the fuck they were doing. It was the blind leading the blind. What the hell was the plan? Who knows? Any culture that he attempted to build was completely destroyed thereafter. They couldn't go on with this bullshit. Not after such a train wreck. On to the next franchise to try and skin alive without anything that made them great. That includes Gannon. Some say he'll be crossing his arms with a stern look for eternity. Even in his next assistant role. I wonder if he still has the fire in his gut. I can't believe it. A long, stale head coach that's pissing away a competing window faces accountability. About goddamn time, Ravens. You can only take so much chronic underachieving and so many blown fourth-quarter leads. John Harbaugh was once the right coach for the Ravens. The expiration date was reached about a decade ago. Now we see a man who's been carried by high-end talent on offense for years on end. A man whose stubbornness led to him backing the dead horses of Zach Orr and Daniel Fa'alele for way too damn long. You can appreciate what he did in the early years in the ring almost 15 years ago, but it's long been time to cut ties. Some poverty team's gonna think his aura on record is going to will them to relevance. They'll be grossly mistaken. If you've been paying attention for the past half-decade, Baltimore's been winning in spite of Harbaugh. It took the Ravens beating the Ravens on repeat for the Ravens to see the truth. Still shocked they pulled the trigger. Because he didn't want to fire Todd Monken? You of all people should know the football gods show no mercy. These men are just a fraction of their bloodlust. Amen.
Chimere DK is back under the crossbar to return.
Cam Little, 67 yards.